Rejection sucks. Think of the last time that you really wanted someone or something. You really wanted to date someone, you wanted to be in a relationship maybe, you're really interested in someone, but they didn't show up for you. Maybe they ghosted you, maybe they chose someone else, maybe they just weren't interested in you. Think of when you really wanted a professional opportunity or work or a gift, a sign of affection from somebody, just to be recognized and validated, but they didn't just choose you. How did that make you feel? Yeah, not very good. Rejection sucks. And that's why in this video, I'm gonna show you 3 powerful things. 1, where rejection even comes from. 2, how to understand rejection. And 3, how to work through and conquer rejection in your own lives. So as we talked about, rejection really sucks. Trust me, I know more than most people, I would think. Because when I was growing up, I was actually coined by my friends as the king of rejection. And the reason that happened was because every time I went up to a girl or someone you'd like try and talk to that we were really interested when we went out, I would always get shut down. And then the feelings that it gives you are just absolutely deplorable. Your sense of self-worth just goes out of the window. Your sense of purpose and motivation in that moment is completely gone. And next thing you know, you want to start choosing maybe what's like second best and third best and fourth best because you feel like it's safer and you're not going to get rejected again. Rejection is one of those heavy wounds that if you experience it enough, it will kill your ability to go after what you want. And so I've recognized this so much in people around me that I wanted to make this video for everybody around to recognize how and where rejection really comes from and how we can actually beat it. So the first thing we need to understand is what is rejection? And rejection really is, I want you to bring your books and pens and listen to this one, but rejection really is a reflection of an unhealed wound that's triggered in a particular moment of challenge. And what that challenge is, as we talked about, is a particular moment where you really want something, but you don't receive it. And you really want maybe to be chosen by a particular person or a partner. You really want your sign of affection to be returned back to you. You really want a boss to promote you. You really want a professional opportunity. You really want a gift or a choice or a prize or any of those things. You want that, but you didn't get it. And so in that moment, the not receiving of it triggers something within you that gets you to emotionally react in that moment. But here's something deep. Rejection, truth be told, is actually not about that moment at all. It's just that moment and what happens that triggers something within you from way back when that comes up to the surface. So what that feels like. So the first thing we need to know is that's what rejection really is. It's not about that particular moment because most often than not, when we get triggered, we get too attached to the person who just ghosted me. We get too attached to the boss who didn't really pick me for this promotion, not realizing that what those things are really doing is just bringing up unhealed and unworked emotions and wounds from the past. That's what needs our focus. So the second thing I want to talk about now is what does rejection really do to us? Let's talk about the nervous system. So rejection is actually a particular feeling or trauma that's stored, attached to the nervous system. So that every time when you go through a difficult challenge or a moment with someone and you don't feel good about it, you're not chosen, it actually shocks your nervous system into feeling dysregulated. So just ask yourself for a second, what do I feel or experience when I get rejected by someone? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling joyful? Are you feeling open? No. Actually, the first thing you start to feel is a huge discomfort in your body. More often than not, your shoulders pull down and your heart center closes. Your center of optimism goes out the window. Maybe sometimes you're sick in the stomach as well. Maybe you just don't feel very good, very optimistic. You don't feel grounded at all. So your entire body is going through a very dysregulated reaction courtesy of your nervous system. Your nervous system here is the answer. It's the key, the reason why what's in your mind, which is the past experience, is being shown up or experienced in that particular moment through your body. That's the nervous system. So the nervous system is really the bridge which connects what happened to you in the past and where it's showing up in the present moment in your body. Now, that can make you feel all kinds of emotions, right? When you get through this point of dysregulation, you feel discombobulated, you don't feel happy. You can even extend as you hold on to that emotion of rejection continuously. You can start to feel sad, you can feel lonely. It hits your sense of self-worth, makes you feel like I talked about before, without having a sense of purpose. It makes you feel like you don't have enough of a value coming from yourself at all. So what you need to do to understand rejection is, how does my nervous system react in that particular moment? And what can we do about it? And we'll talk about that in the third stage. But where? Now, this is the key part of rejection. We talked about what rejection really is. And we're trying to talk about right now what it does to the body and where it really comes from. So if we talked about and we said that our definition of rejection is basically a reflection of an unhealed wound that's triggered in a particular moment, then what is this unhealed wound and where is it from? So this unhealed wound is the where. And what it really is, or where it really is a past experience that we have gone through that was so heavy or invalidating or so heavy on our heart that it makes us feel, or made us feel in that moment, that we were unworthy. We were unworthy of someone's love, affection, their choice, their support, their safety, their security. And because we felt unworthy of all of those things, it ended up in this definition or this title of what we call rejection. So this past wound that we experienced, which is so heavy, this could have been maybe a heavy breakup. This could have been maybe getting fired from your job and maybe even losing your house, losing, a partner in that particular moment. But those things tend to happen maybe like later on in our lives, maybe even in our adult lives. But what this is really influenced by is similar experiences that happen in our childhood. The truth of what happens when you go through dysregulation or you have trauma attached in your body is that when you have a really heavy experience, like what I just talked about, it can not only shock your nervous system, but it also opens up your subconscious mind, which is where all of these things really live. And the subconscious mind opens up, swallows this huge painful experience, closes it on, and then it starts to store these experiences as trauma so that in future experiences, to protect yourself from that same feeling of rejection again, your subconscious mind will start to flare up. It'll dysregulate you and it'll say, hey, let's go for second best, all right? Because the last time we tried to go for what we want, we got shut down and it felt like shit. Hey, let's not even try. Hey, let's not even be motivated to go after this stuff. All of those are a protection mechanism of the brain, of the mind, to prevent us from experiencing that intensity of pain that we went through before. But the way that life works is we will keep going through those experiences and experiencing that pain until we realize enough that there is something there that needs our healing. So this is the most essential piece I just talked about in rejection, is understanding where it came from. And where it came from is what we call a core wound. Now, this core wound is not just one wound, but it's a series of wounds that basically invalidated us, that basically rejected us, shut us down, didn't give us the love and the affection, and most importantly, this word I used, this validation that we needed in order to feel worthy. This primarily comes from when we were children, and if we had an emotionally unavailable parent, every time you run up to them to ask for love, them simply not giving it to you already for a child is enough to mean rejection. Going to school and wanting to be fit in with friends and be popular, but instead noticing that you're not chosen amongst them. Instead, when you're trying to reach out, people are either shaming you, judging you, shutting you down. All of that can feel like rejection. And so understanding where rejection comes from in this core wound now gives us bigger insight to say, what if I learned to soothe, validate, and even heal this core wound? What if I learned the techniques to go back, to recognize where this rejection is really coming from, and be able to destroy the attachment I have to that experience? The emotions that are constantly flowing from there, if I can break that connection, if I can heal and regulate my nervous system, so as we talked about, the experience of fear that's in the mind and the experience of feeling really dysregulated in the body, if I can heal that, that tunnel, that bridge, so that it doesn't have to go through, and now what happens the next time I go up to someone and I ask them hey, do you want to go out on a date with me? And they say, no, sorry, I can't do it. I don't see that choice or that moment or that experience as, I'm not good enough and that's why they didn't pick me. Instead, I see it as, okay, wow, this is interesting. My body is feeling grounded and more calm, which means I'm not feeling as bad. So automatically it tells my mind, hey, we're more relaxed, we're more at peace, we're not feeling really bad, so it's not hitting you, one. And second, if I've overcome that past experience and fear of that rejection and that attachment to the invalidation, and I don't see this person right now telling me that it's not going to work out as a rejection. Instead, I just see it as a choice or a preference. And so the true power of rejection comes into this really powerful, amazing step of repurposing rejection, reframing rejection, to call it redirection. And the most successful people who've worked through those wounds, who've been able to regulate their nervous system, who've been able to show up in that particular moment, noticing that the things that don't necessarily go their way are not things that are shutting them down, but they're things that are guiding them somewhere else. They're just redirecting them somewhere else so that they don't have to spend continuous energy and effort attached to this. Those are the people who become most successful, whether it's in their relationships, whether it's in their jobs, in their finance, whatever they're doing. And that's why this is the most important part. I wanted to give people the opportunity to work through to conquer rejection once and for all, to not attract it in their life anymore and only to attract redirection as an opportunity for them to grow. So I created this 3-day Freedom from Rejection challenge. And in this challenge, I talked about important parts in this video, but in this 3-day Freedom from Rejection challenge, I'm going to work on 1, how to regulate your nervous system so that you're not affected or absorbing the intensity of rejection anymore. You're not literally connecting it to your fears anymore, and you're instead just staying grounded and present. 2, the biggest piece, how to heal those core wounds. Those core wounds I talked to you from your past experiences, from your inner child, from those things that show up in your life, how to be able to go back, heal, soothe those core wounds and reparent your inner child. That's the second piece we're gonna do. And then the third piece of the challenge, which is gonna happen on day 3, is the power of how to truly reframe rejection so that I can utilize the power of redirection in my life. And on this 3-day challenge, there's gonna be a lot of amazing tools, techniques. We're gonna do nervous system regulation, inner child meditations, reparenting work, all of it. And it's only for, not gonna tell you, you're gonna have to find out. It's super affordable. So click on the link below in the description to find out more about this challenge, to subscribe. It's gonna start really soon. This 3-day challenge is gonna help you conquer rejection once and for all. You and I are gonna be working on this together. It's gonna be an incredibly powerful experience. Click the link on the description to be able to find out more and to sign up for the challenge. Jump into the Facebook group, already start interacting. There are people getting going, getting ready for this start date. It's gonna be a really powerful challenge.